Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your October 2025 tarot readings for your North Node by sign and house for the second half of October. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant is that it's recognized in astrology your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant to your everyday life and much more accurate in tarot readings. Now remember, you're going to want to watch two readings, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. Now this second half of October is looking to be very, very powerful energetically. We have the interstellar object 3-eye atlas that's going to make its closest approach to the Earth, and that's definitely affecting the energy and the planetary energies. So we should be feeling that as a collective and as an individual. But remember, this channel is all about our personal evolution, what we're here to do as individuals, okay? No matter what is going on in the world, we're here to do us. We're here to learn our lessons, and that's what these readings are all about. So with that, I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides, guardians, and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear these readings, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or the first house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed 10 of Cups. Now, this card is known as the emotional fulfillment card, and I feel like, it's reversed here. And a lot of you North Nodes in Aries or the first house, there are aspects of your life that you're finding difficulty in finding fulfillment, okay, emotional fulfillment. Now, for some of you, this could be multiple areas. For others, it could be, certain areas like, it could be in your relationships, in your family, in your health, in your work, or whatever it is. But there's an overall, there's this gnawing, lack of fulfillment emotionally somewhere in your life. And you're here to figure it out. And the thing about it is, it's requiring you to tweak and make some changes in how you're approaching whatever area or areas that this is talking about, okay? Let's look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity. So on your timeline, you've got the Moon card upright. You've got the 4 of Pentacles upright. And you've got the 7 of Pentacles reversed. Now, looking at the pentacles here, yes, a lot of times when we see pentacles, we're talking about, money, finances, things of value in our life, both tangible and, not tangible things, like our time and our love and our energy and all of that, okay? But in this case, what this is really talking about is it's talking about holding on to ways of being, okay? So we have the Moon card here. The moon is showing, that there is something that you're not seeing clearly, okay? There's something that's hidden from you. It's like when I always use this example where at nighttime we may be feeling a certain way or going through something, and then somehow magically when the next day comes, even if it was a difficult night, difficult sleeping situation where you would wake up and it just kind of feels like fresh and like you can face it and there's this optimism, okay? But that's because, there's something regarding this situation that is hidden from you and it's causing you to because you're not seeing it clearly because it's obscured, it's causing you to not feel the fulfillment in some area of your life that you want and need to. Now, these two cards here, the 4 of Pentacles is saying that this is what I'm talking about, that you may be holding on to something. It could be sometimes we want certain things to be in our life, and sometimes they're just not there. I mean, I think that we've all had this example where maybe it was a friendship or a relationship or a job, and we really wanted it to work out. We wanted it to be a certain way, and it's not, right? But we can sometimes hold on to things. And so this situation is something that maybe you're holding on to some aspect or aspects of your life that need to be released. You're clinging to them. And then this Seven of Pentacles reverse, this card, when you see it, you have the gardener here that's watching his garden grow, watching the vines grow. So this card's generally about patience. But when it's reversed here, especially with your south node that you have in Libra or the seventh house, a lot of times that you can be too patient. One of the things that I see a lot of times over the years with people that have a north node in Aries, or the first house, they're being told to be more Aries-like, stand up for themselves, set boundaries, do all the things that, be more assertive, those type of things, right? But one of the things that can happen is they're actually too understanding, they're too patient. So I think that there's a situation where it's like, it's time to let it go, or let it transform, right? So that could even mean, let's say, as an example, there is a friendship, okay, that you really want it to be a certain way and it's not. And so you have to figure, okay, do I need to talk to this person? What adjustments do I need to make? Or do I need to say, okay, do I need to hold on to this relationship? Or is it something that it's not going to really do me any good? So it's a matter of, it's time, the time for patience is over regarding this, and that this is what wants to transform. And this is what is kind of hidden from you right now, okay, where you need to look at something in a fresh, new way and make these adjustments, okay? And this has to do with letting go with the way that you may want things to go. And when you do let those self-proclaimed ideas, things that you want things to be as far as these situations, when you let them go, they're able to transform and move on, and so that's this clinging energy that we want to let go of. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Hierophant upright, and you've got the Six of Wands reversed. Now, Six of Wands, this is a card of victory. You can see the person riding the white steed with the laurel wreath of victory around, and the people cheering them on, okay? But it's reversed. What this is saying to me, to tell you, is that one of the aspects of your life path, if you have a north node in Aries or the first house, is to walk the path of the hero, to do heroic things, to say the things that need to be said, to do the things that need to be done. Okay, it's the path of the hero. The reason this is reversed is that your destiny, your future, is in your hands. Okay, so when you are able to make adjustments and say, okay, I am going to release some of these Libra South Node or 7th House South Node ways, and I'm going to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done, even if it feels difficult. When you do that, you're stepping into the role of the heroic path. And that's what this is saying, is that you literally can change your destiny and your future by making adjustments. And the Hierophant upright is saying that what makes it difficult, this is a card. One of the things is of belief systems. It's also a card of our personal belief systems, our personal philosophy, but also a card of tradition. I also feel that this card is talking about our traditional patterns or way of being. And so, how do I mean like a traditional way of being? Let's say that, we all have traditions in our life. Like, we might have a family that says, on Thanksgiving Day, we play a game of touch football or something. Like, that's your tradition in the family, and you always do it, and you must do it. But we each have individual patterns that are our tradition. When something happens, like if you've noticed in your life where you notice people in your life, something will happen and you're like, you see a certain pattern happening. When something happens, then they have a certain traditional reaction to it. And so what this is saying is that what's coming to light is seeing the patterns that you need to change. That's what is like taking place. And when you see those patterns and then have the courage to like make the adjustments, and let go of certain things and go in a new direction, that's when you're going to start to see this heroic path really, come out ahead of you and show you the way. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal tarot reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the Five of Cups. And when I saw this card, and then I was looking at the energy of this reading, because I get like an overall kind of like vision of what the reading is telling me. And so this card is saying that you North Nodes in Taurus and or the second house are all individually healing certain aspects of your life. You're in the process of healing certain aspects. And as you're going through this healing process, you're having to be very patient with yourself and your life, because most of the time, healing, whether that be, physical healing or, emotional or like mental healing, it takes time, and it's a process, and you're in the process of healing some aspect of your life. And what this is doing is that this is pushing you toward new horizons. So the reason for it is that you're finding that there is a part of your life that you don't feel extremely connected to. And even though that feels weird and doesn't feel good, the bigger picture for this is that when you finally learn, okay, it's time to move on from some aspect of my life, it sets you off into new horizons. If you didn't feel this, like if we don't feel the need to ever change, we won't change. If things just kind of stay okay, they're all right, and we just are kind of going along, there's no need. So this feeling that you're having is serving a purpose, is what I'm trying to say, is that it's getting you to push on to new horizons. And this is brought out in the deeper meaning of this card. And the reason I say that is because, the Three of Cups is the person's obviously distraught over the spilled cups here. There's 3 cups spilled, but there's 2 behind them with a road leading over a bridge off into the sun. There's a new path to go to, okay? And so this is a card of healing and hope, because there is always, it's like literally like the silver lining, or the dawn after the dark night of the storm, okay, type of a thing. And so you're in this process of, as I said, healing. Now, let's look at your timeline and we'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Ace of Wands reversed, you've got the Hanged Man upright, and you've got the 10 of Wands upright. So this Ace of Wands is saying, okay, this is about energy. So the wands represent physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, things, and also our passion and our inspiration, all of those things, like the spark of life, that we have. And because it's reversed, you have to be gentle with yourself, because this is part of the healing. When we are healing from something, we have to be gentle with ourselves, okay? Because it takes a little time, and more so, even when we're talking about healing mentally or emotionally, it takes time. And what this can do is it brings your energy down. But what I'm here to tell you is that the way to kind of look at this is what I was saying a few moments ago with this Hanged Man. This is about seeing a perspective, seeing things in a new way. You don't really have to do anything. And there could be this need in you, or this desire, like, okay, I'm feeling a certain way, and I'm healing from this, and I'm feeling a certain way, my energy's down. What do I need to do to make it feel better? And what this is saying is you don't need to do anything other than see things in a different light. Like, where, where is this healing leading you? What new direction is it leading you? Okay. Just start to look at that. And I think that the second half of October, that's what's going to you're going to become aware of, because this healing, it could be for some of you something that has gone on for a while, for a long while. This could be a healing that goes back many years to childhood. For some of you, it could be something very recent, something that happened in a relationship. Okay. But as I said, you're seeing things in this kind of new light, and you're seeing that you don't have to do anything but just get a new perspective on what's, kind of happening. Now, the perspective here is that you've got this 10 of Wands upright. This is, normally when you hear tarot readers talk about the 10 of Wands, it's like a card of carrying burdens, right? And a lot of times, many, many times, it's looked at as a negative card, like, oh, you're carrying burdens, right? But when we're working towards something, when we're working on our life, when I've used this example before, if a person is in really bad physical health and shape, right? And they decide that, we've all seen those videos of these people that make transformations in their life, right? What do they have to do? They have to start carrying burdens. They have to, like, not eat or drink the things that they normally would. They have to change their diet and, eating habits. They might have to get up early and go work out physically. Okay. It's carrying a burden. And so what this is saying here is that this healing process this is a good burden, because it's pushing you, as I said, into a new direction or new directions. Okay. Even though it doesn't feel wonderful at first, just like getting up. If you start working out every day, if you get up at 5 a.m., it doesn't feel great, okay, at first, until you get used to it. And it probably never will feel absolutely wonderful, but you will get more used to it, as I said. But that carrying that burden is something that's going to pay off for you. And that's what I'm seeing here. Now, your two advice cards you've got the Three of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Star card reversed. Now, the Star card is a wonderful card to get, whether it's reversed or not. But this is like telling me that there's something very karmic involved with this situation, with this healing. There's something karmically involved with this, and it's something that you needed to go through for your personal evolution. I think if you, as you start to take this Hanged Man energy and see things in a different perspective, you're looking at things in a different way, and as you start to process it, what you're going to see that this is really important for your path. As time goes on, you're going to see that there's something. So you don't see it at first. That's why the star is reversed, okay? But eventually you'll see that this is something very, very karmic in nature. Now, this Three of Pentacles reversed, this is about, like, not feeling appreciated, okay? So what can be the underlying theme of what the healing has to do with is, it's like you're doing you, but you're not being appreciated for who you are or what you do. So for some of you, if this is like something that has to do with work and career, right, you could feel like underappreciated in that aspect. For some of you, if it's a relationship thing, it could be like feeling underappreciated in that relationship situation, or with a friendship, or whatever it is. But you feel like what you're doing is not being appreciated. And one of the reasons that this is happening also is, remember, your North Node in Taurus, or the second house, is all about becoming more of an independent individual. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to be like the lone wolf and not have connection to people, but you're supposed to, in this lifetime, develop more independence, okay, as opposed to interdependence. okay, with a people or with another person. And so this is again, causing that to happen, because as we're feeling like we're not being appreciated in certain aspects, we have to ask ourselves why, and we're seeing the perspective, and then we're changing our approach, and it's getting us to be more independent. Again, as I said, this whole reading is based on pushing you to new horizons, to a new direction, okay? And that's the reason why that this healing is happening, but it is difficult. And the energy level is difficult to deal with, but just realize the more you look at this, at the situation or situations, and you try to understand them, through this hanged man, and you try to look at the new perspectives, as you do that, the energy level will come back. But this is just part of this whole healing process. But again, very, very karmic in nature. So it's an overall positive. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Page of Cups reversed. And when I saw this card, the phrase that came to me was emotionally playful. Um, that's one of the things that this card is speaking of. And also the pages are also known as messengers, okay? So the pages can be like messages that are coming to us or that are being sent out. And what I feel like is that there is something that's going on with you North Nodes in Gemini or the third house that has to do with a relationship of some sort, where there seems to be this kind of disconnect, like you're not really getting them on the full scale level, and they're not getting you. There's some sort of like miscommunication or misinterpretation emotionally in the situation, and it can be solved. But getting back to this, you could say also that this card is about emotional flexibility. One of the things about being a North Node in Gemini ruled by the planet Mercury is that we're talking about cleverness. We're talking about, yes, playfulness. We're talking about the use of communication in an interesting way. And so there's something to where there's some sort of a disconnect with the relationship, and it needs to be kind of worked out because it might feel odd. So this could be any sort of relationship in your life, friends, family, as I always say, work or romantic relationship. But there's like a disconnect, right? Let's look at the timeline and we'll get some more clarity here. So on your timeline cards, you've got the Two of Cups reversed. You've got the Nine of Wands upright. And you've got the Two of Wands upright. So this is that relationship that I was talking about, okay? That, it's reversed here, the Two of Cups. In this situation, it's like they don't get you fully and you don't get them fully, but it's something that it's a relationship that is not like a throwaway relationship. And what I mean by that is throughout our life, people come in and out, right? But then there's the ones that, really matter. Like obviously we have these connections with family members a lot of times, or it could be like very close friendships, or there's just certain connections. This isn't a throwaway relationship. This is something to where, it has to kind of be worked out, okay, one way or the other. But as I said, there's this kind of like disconnect, and it has to do with, communication. Now, what this is telling you is to look at things in a new way. As I said before, North Node in Gemini or the third house ruled by Mercury, it's about puzzles. And a lot of your life is figuring out, like trying different things, okay? Making the puzzles like work. And that's what we're talking about with this. Now, this Nine of Wands upright, is talking about, these are our patterns, right? So you're wanting to and needing to change the way that you approach not only this relationship, but a lot of relationships, because, you could see here that this is about pattern recognition. Like, okay, I've done this. I kind of always do this certain thing in this certain situation. And this is requiring you to maybe recognize the pattern and say, let's try something different. Let's try to work the puzzle out in a different way. And when you start to think that way, again, the planet Mercury, to be clever and to do a different sort of approach, different sort of calculation, this is where things start to change for the better. Now, the Two of Wands, this is saying that literally, like, by doing this in this situation with this relationship, whatever this is, by working on it and recognizing patterns, not doing what you've always done, your world is in your hands, your future is in your hands. And this is something to where this has to do with your personal future, right? And it's something that when you start to figure this out and you start to, this has essentially reverberations for you for your future, meaning that it's not just this one and done thing and like, okay, I figured that out and move on. When you move on from this, the fact that you were able to maybe, I'm going to approach this in a different way, okay? I know I've tried it this way. Let me try to understand this person in this relationship or find a new way of communication. I'm going to work on that. When you do that, that's basically, setting you up for the future, to where when you can keep doing that and you can keep trying to say, okay, I'm hitting this roadblock in my life. It's like a puzzle. Let me figure this out. And a lot of your life path is like that. It's like figuring out, solving problems, really. And that's what I see a lot with these North Node in Gemini situations, and North Node in the third house is problem solving, right? Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Page of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Queen of Cups upright. The Page of Pentacles is saying that this is a message that's being sent, that the situation has to do with values, okay? Maybe that the part of the communication that's not working in this relationship is there's a difference in value, or what you value and what they value. And that's, so this is a clue for you that maybe it's like they look at things in, a certain way. What do I mean by that? Okay, so like everyone, we all have our own values. No person's values are necessarily better than ours, right? So someone might have a value that they're saying like, I must always eat really healthy all the time. Like that's their value, and they stick to it and they're really stuck to it. Where others of us say, well, you know what? Like sometimes I want like a burger and pizza, okay? And so you might have, and you don't really vibe with that. You're not going to be just sitting there like, eating, kale and tofu all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that's their values and you have yours. So there's a difference sometimes in values. And when we're having to deal with those type of people, especially if we're having to have meals with them all the time, that can cause some, conflict. So what this is saying is that the clue for you is that there's different values. So can you find a workaround? They are looking at their world and the situations in their life differently than you look at them for you, right? And so find, understand the differences and solve the puzzle. And then this Queen of Cups is saying that the other advice is keep yourself emotionally open and emotionally compassionate through this process. And that's what this takes. This is about emotional maturity, this card. It's also about emotional intelligence, okay? And that's something that you want to really, pay attention to. One of the secrets people don't realize about when we look at Gemini, Sagittarius, that polarity, okay, whether it's your North Node in Gemini or Sagittarius, is that you are highly intuitive. Okay. And that's one of the things that people don't understand, that these signs are highly, intuitive. And so use your intuition. You have this ability, if you tap into it, to have a sharp mind in order to understand the world and also your intuition. When you find that balance of those two things, it's very, very, very powerful, okay? And so throughout this is saying, use your emotional intelligence, use your intuition in this, listen to your intuition, but also make sure that through this process, you're staying compassionate. Like, for example, if someone in that example of they want to eat kale and tofu for dinner, we're not going to get like offended, but we're going to find some sort of a workaround. Okay. You know, that type of thing. Just stay compassionate is what this is saying. But yeah, really interesting, reading for you North nodes in Gemini, or the third house, I should say. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the fourth house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Page of Pentacles. Now, pentacles, yeah, they rule like things of value that we have in our life. So everything from things that are physical and tangible, like, money, finances, raises, investments, houses, cars, possessions, all of those things, those physical things of value, but also things that are non-physical, like our health, our relationships, our time, all of those things that are of a non-physical nature. And I feel like this second half of October is really showing you, it's like you're really honing in on what it is that is valuable in your life. Like you're looking at your life and you've been saying like, okay, this is extremely valuable, this is valuable, but this not so much. Like maybe I don't need to spend time with this situation or this person or something to that effect. So you're really looking at the things in your life that you value, both physical and a non-physical. And what this is doing is this is setting you off. I'm seeing this kind of like new direction or new beginning in some aspect or aspects of your life, some certain like new direction. Because when we do that, this is one of the things they call like getting your priorities straight, right? When you get your values straight of kind of like, yeah, what is it that is truly important to me? What is it that I truly value? When we do that, it clarifies us, because we could say, okay, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. I'm going to take this and this and this, and then it sets this clear picture. So you're getting like kind of a more of a clarity of what it is you value. And then when you do that, you're getting this new direction that's presented to you. Let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity here. So you've got the Six of Wands upright. You've got the Eight of Pentacles upright. And you've got the Eight of Wands upright. Now, these are really amazing cards. So the Six of Pentacles is saying that, Six of Wands. This is a card of victory. You can see that the person is with the red cape, riding on the white steed, with all the people cheering them, and they have the wreath of victory around their head. Okay, this is a card of victory. I think for a lot of you, it has to do with like something that has to do with what you're doing as far as work goes, or career, or even like a hobby or an idea, but it's something that you're actually doing, something that you're doing, and maybe you're making more time for, because you're seeing what is important to you, and you're cutting out a lot of the things that aren't valuable to you, that's giving you more time. Now, this Eight of Pentacles, you could see that there's this artisan working on the pentacles. So a lot of times this card is about like work and career. A lot of times it could just be about, it could be about a business idea that you want to do. It could be about like a hobby or something you want to do. Do you want to start like a nonprofit or a charity? It's something, as I said, that you want to do, you want to work at, you want to develop. And maybe a lot of you are like thinking of ideas of, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should make this career change or job change. But in essence, this card is about something that you are doing or want to do in the world, some work that you want to do or want to produce. Now, where it's heading is this Eight of Wands upright. Now, this is a card of all systems go. So I'm getting an indication that you're being told that once you get these values clear and you are putting your focus in on what is truly valuable to you, it's like all systems go. I see things moving very smoothly and swiftly in this new direction. But this is a direction change, even if it's just mentally or something where just changing an aspect of your life, that could be part of it. And I feel like it is very, very positive. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Six of Cups reversed and you've got the Page of Swords reversed. I feel like the thing that's happening with this overall is that there were things that are from your past, way back in childhood, that set you in a certain direction or had you think about like what was important in life. Like, I feel like there was values that were set in you very early in your life, and you're realizing that you don't really hold those values. So for example, let's say that someone grew up in a very dogmatic, strict religious environment, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But a lot of times people that are raised in that environment realize as they get older that maybe that is not their value. Maybe they have a different belief system, because as individuals, we're allowed to have our own beliefs as we grow into adulthood. And so what we see a lot of times, this is an example of what this is, or it could be like a certain way of thinking about life. Like, maybe certain ideas were portrayed to you when you were younger, and you're realizing that those aren't my values. Like, that's not me. And so part of this is discovering what is you. That's what this is saying. So it's very, very powerful. And when you find, when you drop off what is not truly you, maybe you've just done it out of tradition or whatever, or oh, I'm just going through the motions. When you start to like release that, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to move in a new direction, and you're allowing new things to come in, and you're allowing this kind of victory to happen in your life. Now, this Page of Swords is saying this is relating to these old values. And so it's a change of thinking. It's a change of the way that you are processing the world, and you're realizing that isn't my thinking. That's not, those aren't my words. Those words don't have value to me. Okay. And I'm finding what is truly of my own value. But especially this is saying, like, mentally, there are things that are dropping off. You may have been going through this for several months, where you just look back and you're saying, like, could just be a thought of the past. Yeah, that's not really me anymore. I know I was raised that way. Not even this childhood. You just had a partnership that was a friend or a love relationship, and you're realizing, yeah, that's not me. And so all of this is positive. And really what this is doing is it's really setting you up to go in a great direction very swiftly, and it can bring you to like these new places in your life where you're going to feel more fulfilled and more happy. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, there's going to be a link in the description box below. Or if you'd like to show the channel some love, we'd appreciate that. So with that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the 7 of Wands upright. And when I saw this card, what this is telling me is I feel like a lot of you North Nodes in Leo, one of the things that you're here to do in this lifetime, if you're North Node in Leo or the 5th house, is you're here to step out as an individual, okay, and step out from the crowd. This is about individuating from the group, the tribe, the clan type of a thing. And when we do that, a lot of times there's an old saying that talks about, like, when crabs are in a cage. They're caught in the ocean. When one tries to, climb out, others will like pull them down. There's that old analogy that's kind of, and we see that in humans too. Like as people start to better themselves, and it's really a weird part of human nature. We all know what happens. Even people that love us and care about us and that we think and should have our best interest, for whatever reason, a lot of times they don't want to see us change, and this is very common. We see this play out in lots of times in not only real life, but also we've seen it play out in movies where, this person, they're used to them being a certain way. And one of the things that I'm feeling for you is that a lot of you are trying and have been trying to like make changes in your life and become the highest version of yourself and a different version of yourself in one or more aspects of your life. And so you could be meeting some resistance, okay? And that's what this card is saying. But you need to hold your ground, okay? And we're going to get some more clarity when we look at your timeline here. So you've got the Page of Cups reversed. You've got the Ace of Wands reversed, and you've got the Page of Swords upright. So these two, the page here, the Page of Cups and the Ace of Wands, is saying, how this feels, because you see the Seven of Wands, the person is having to defend a position, okay? They have their wand here, and then there's these 6 wands that they're having to defend their position in some way. And the effect as you are trying to better yourself and become the highest version of yourself, when you meet that resistance, it could be like a situation of what I call a dream stealer, where, like, for example, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to do this or that, and let's say out of envy or jealousy, or that they feel that it makes them diminished, they might say something, right? Let's say, for example, someone saying that they wanted to like further their education, and let's say they haven't had a great track record up till that point, but they're really ready to make changes in their life. And then so some person in their life just kind of says, oh yeah, well, I hope you can actually do it this time, type of a thing. Okay. And this is what this is a small example of what I'm talking about. Now, the feeling that can happen from this is it hits us emotionally. That's what, we feel all, with the Page of Cups upright, emotionally exuberant about something. And it's like this deflation of our emotions. It doesn't feel good, right? And the other thing that can happen is with this Ace of Wands is our energy goes down. So like when someone were to say something like that, and I think we've all experienced something like that, where we're super charged up and super exuberant about something in our life, and then someone does something to deflate it, our energy just kind of diminishes, okay? What this is telling you is it's saying, hold your ground and don't look for others' approval. This is a big lesson for North Nodes in Leo or North Nodes in the 5th house, is you're not supposed to get all of your feedback from the tribe and the group, because many times they're going to say, oh, I want the old person back, or they're not going to be encouraging. This is for you to stand strong in your independence, okay? And so this hurts, right? When we go through something like that and we get deflated energetically and emotionally, it doesn't feel good. But this is an indication where we're not supposed to get fed through what other people think, okay? We're supposed to just stand in our true beliefs. We're going to do this whether we like it or not. You're leaving the tribe, okay? Not necessarily cutting them off, but you're stepping out. And when you do that, you're standing in your power, and you're not getting like, I don't care what, if I don't need your approval. I don't care what you think or how you feel. I mean, I respect your opinion, but this is my life. This is what I need to do. And this is part of this. It's very, very difficult to do. But that's what this Page of Swords is saying. This is about standing your ground, about being vigilant, saying, I'm doing this. I mean, you look at these cards, they're very interesting, right? You got the Seven of Wands. This guy's holding his ground, holding his wand up against these other, wands down here, and then this person is staying vigilant, holding their sword, and they're saying, yeah, I'm ready. I know what I'm doing, and I know that this is right for me. So this is part of your path, stepping out. It could be anything. It could be like, just off the top of my head, like all of a sudden, like you have a dream of, wanting to be a stand-up comedian, and it's your dream. And maybe, secretly you're really good at it. And that would be really good, because anybody that has a North Node in Leo is meant to be seen in some way. They have some sort of hidden talents, okay, that they aren't using yet. And so people will be like, what? Like, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Like, but that's how people start that way. They start just having an idea, or I want to go into acting, or whatever it is, or just, start a business and whatever. Okay, don't get your feedback from others. You have to be self-reflective and know what your true heart says. This is about being true to yourself. Remember, Leo and the fifth house is ruled by the sun, okay? You get your energy through what you truly believe, okay? You're not getting it from anywhere else, from you, okay? That you're being fed by your own dreams and desires. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Hanged Man upright, and you've got the Judgment card upright. Now, the Judgment card is messages that are being sent to you from the universe, from your spirit guides, from just, your higher self, messages that are coming to you. And you're meant to listen. So what I feel like is happening is, part of your path, and I see this a lot with North Nodes in Leo, is you're meant to, in order to discover who you truly are, what your deep talents are, what direction is, you're getting a lot of direction from, I mentioned like the sun, it's the radiating planet. It's what gives life to the planet Earth. It represents fire in its truest form, being a Leo North Node, okay? It's all about that, about inspiration. So what I feel like that you need to do is make sure that you're paying attention and listening to things that are coming in from your higher self, in dreams, what it is that you are feeling for yourself. Also from other means, like maybe you read a book, or you watch a program, and it feeds you inspiration. But what you're not supposed to do is listen to things that are not, if it doesn't feel right emotionally and or physically, the physical energy or emotional energy with these cards, if it doesn't feel right, don't listen to it. It has to feed you, okay? So if you hear something, someone says something like, yeah, like, I think you'd be really good at doing that. Have you ever thought about this? And when they say that, and it feeds you emotionally, just like on a beautiful warm day, feeling the sun on your skin, if it feels good like that, okay, you're on the right track. Now, with this Hanged Man card, it's interesting because it's saying that in this initial stage, you don't have to physically do anything, but this is more like becoming aware, like you're in the thinking stage. So maybe you're planning, or have been planning on wanting to do something. But what's most important is for you to solidify it in your mind inspirationally. So you can see the Hangman here, that, he's seeing things in a new perspective. He's upside down, hands tied behind his back, one leg tied behind the other. But if you see around his head, there is this light of illumination or inspiration, okay? So one of the things that this is saying is that always move toward your inspiration. So you get inspired. You're not just supposed to start moving unless you're inspired. So that's why there's this listening, paying attention to the inspiration that's coming in, and then making sure that you get it. And then when you feel that inspiration, just like you feel that warmth of the sun on your skin, when you can feel that inspiration, then it's time to act. And so you don't want to act unless you feel inspired. So that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the inspiration to come, and then the action follows, okay? Anyway, powerful reading. I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Virgo and or the 6th house. The theme card that popped out for you is the Queen of Wands upright. And when I saw this card in conjunction with the other cards, I was feeling like what's coming up for you for the second half of October is it has to do with your self-worth and self-esteem that you're dealing with, okay? This is something to where this is a healing that's going back many years, that a big theme for you has been like, self-love, self-esteem, how you value yourself. All of that's important. And I feel like that's like a big theme that's coming up. And I feel like you're starting to regain in certain areas of your life, maybe things that were lost to you, like maybe over time, especially this happens. I've seen this in clients over the years where they're dealing in a really difficult relationship for many years. And sometimes our self-worth and self-esteem just gets like chipped out little by little, little by little. And it happens so slowly. And over time, it's like, whoa, like I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever it is. It's just like a slow kind of a thing chipping away. But I feel like you're realizing that. So it's all about your self-esteem and you getting back to who you were at your strongest, state of being. And that's what this is about. Now, we'll get some more clarity. We'll look at your timeline cards. So you've got the 7 of Swords reversed. You've got the 6 of Cups reversed. And you've got the 5 of Swords upright. Okay. So starting with the 7 of Swords, these cards are all kind of representing different areas of your life that may have been a struggle with dealing with valuing yourself as a person and self-esteem and self-love, right? Starting with this, 7 of Swords reversed. This is about something, an aspect of yourself and positivity about yourself. Something that was taken from you is being returned, like you are returning to a stronger way of being. Now, the 7 of Swords, one of the indications, it could be like sneakiness or underhandedness. It's something that played into you not feeling your strongest. So some of you are healing from something like that. You have the 6 of Cups here reversed. This is about, the 6 of Cups is about our emotional past. And when this is reversed, it's saying that like there could have been things for some of you that is going all the way back to childhood that you've had to heal. Things, a lot of times our self-esteem issues go back into childhood or when we were younger, And so I feel like some of you are overcoming that. This is something that you're having to deal with and heal from, okay? And you're on the road to doing that. I feel like if this is applying to you, all of these may apply to you, or maybe just some of them, okay? So you've got something that, sneakily that was done to you that is returning. You've got the, your emotional past. Maybe there was belief systems that were ingrained in you and you believe certain things about yourself, okay? Now, the last thing is you've got this 5 of Swords up here. And this is a card of, like definitely things that were said and done to you could have had this like deep effect, okay? And this could have happened any time in your life. It could be some like really, over a period of time or just 1 or 2 times, but things that were done that weren't very nice. And what it did was it made you feel deflated or defeated in some way, okay? And so this is all kind of playing into this. But right now in your life, this is all about you getting stronger within yourself and your self-esteem and self-love, because everybody that has this North Node in Virgo. It's one of the more challenging north nodes, just in my experience of people I've known and doing readings. And it's because, you're coming from this south node in Pisces and or the 12th house, which is the house of in the sign of complete experience. So there's a lot of I've just noticed a lot of people are coming from past lives and or their past in this life that's very difficult. And so one of the things that you're here to do is to get grounded in this lifetime, find out what you value in your life and build your self-love. And that's one of the things that you're working on and you're working towards. Now, here are your advice cards in order to do this. You've got the Knight of Swords reversed, and you've got the Fool card. Now, the Knight of Swords reversed, this is saying that you want to slow down, okay? And what I mean by that is, as you're going through this process of building self-esteem and self-worth, you don't want to rush through it. Like, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that, as humans, we have this tendency, like, let's say something hurtful happens, right? And we kind of like deal with it in the moment, and then we just say, okay, that's it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to get on my horse and I'm moving in a new direction, and I'm going to just file that away. Well, it's not really dealt with. A lot of us can do that, where we don't want to deal with it, and so we just move forward, and it stays kind of stuck there. So as you're going through this process of building your self-esteem, you don't want to rush through it. You want to make sure that you're thorough, and you say, you know what, like, yeah, I don't care what this person did or what they said or whatever. I know who I am. I know my own value. I have love for myself and for my life. And so you're like completely getting rid of it. You're not just like walking away from it, and then it just gets shoved down deep inside you. So that's why I say, so don't rush through this process. And the other thing with this Fool card is the Fool is an amazing card. It's a lot of times people in the tarot deck think, oh, I don't want to be foolish, right? That's not what this card's about. This card is about fresh new beginnings. It's about feeling like when we were at our strongest, like when you see like a childlike exuberance, when people are in their teens and their 20s and they're doing some great things, and they have this optimism, right? That's what this card's about. And that's what I see is through this, is that remember that there is a way for you. There is a way forward through all of this. And that's what this is saying. As you're, remember, building your self-esteem is this process. And as you do this, you're going to find a new way of being. But where I see you going is, I see that there are fresh starts on your horizon as you get rid of these old things that have maybe, brought you down in some way mentally and emotionally. As you get rid of them and you heal them and you are able to move on from them truly once and for all, I see this kind of new beginning. But the bottom line is, try to always have the ability to have optimism, to have the outlook of optimism, because that's one of the things that, it can be a challenge whether or not you have your North Node in Virgo or Pisces, okay? The optimism thing, because it could be a challenge. So just remember, always look at your life like the glass half full, okay? Not half empty. Try to look from the optimistic, because that'll always enhance your life, and it'll be the better thing. Don't worry about, well, I don't know if it makes sense or it's not practical. Just always try to look on the bright side. This is one of the things that is really helpful. It might sound silly, but it's very, very helpful to have an optimistic outlook as you're going through this whole thing. But yeah, some very transformative things that you guys are going through right now, and you're really becoming this better version of yourself and getting rid of a lot of the old stuff that's in there. So anyway, I hope this reading is helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Six of Swords upright. And what I'm thinking for the second half of October here is that many of you, if not all of you, have been moving away from some area of your life that was, a little bit of chaotic, that was some sort of trouble or strife or something, like moving out of a situation or moving away from or healing from some sort of situation that was causing trouble, that was causing rough currents, in your life. And I feel like you're moving away from something, and it could have been very difficult to do, but you're headed in the right direction, and you want to keep that going, because I feel like there's something to where how sometimes when we go through something and we like walk away from a situation, sometimes we can get dragged back into it somehow, right? And so I think that that's what I'm being, kind of told here, is that you're moving away, keep moving away from situations and people and relationships that aren't serving you, okay, whatever that is. And it could just be something as simple as at work that doesn't have your back, or a family member that you need to slightly back away from or set boundaries with. But I just feel like this is a situation to where, you're being asked to not let it suck you back in. So let's take a look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Five of Swords reversed, you've got the Hermit card reversed, and you've got the Two of Wands reversed. Starting with the Five of Swords, all of the five cards in the tarot deck are challenging cards, but when they're reversed, it's like a lessening of the challenges. And I feel like there was a situation. One of the things that you're moving away from is there was some sort of a conflict that you were dealing with. Now, this could be something for each of you, it's different. It could be something from the distant past, from the somewhat recent past, okay, or something that you're going through. And it was something that I feel like it did have kind of this past feeling, because it was something that still kind of had like a sting to it. But the main problem with the situation is that, and this is what happens a lot when you have a north node in Libra or the seventh house, is it situations with people sometimes make you a person that you don't want to be. Like, you don't want to go there. You don't want to be that type of a person, but it tends to kind of take you there. It could be like a difficult things that were said or a problem situation. And the reason for that is because in this lifetime, you're supposed to be, instead of the warrior, you're supposed to be the peacemaker. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a time to set boundaries and, stand up for yourself and fight or whatever. I'm just saying figuratively fight. But in this lifetime, you're supposed to go the way of peace and diplomacy as much as possible. And that's where this Hermit reversed is saying, is that, it's saying that a lot of times people in situations, they make you be the person that you don't want to be, and put you in kind of a bad state. And this is something that you're learning to do and you're working with. And I feel like all of you are making progress toward that. But remember, it's something that we can always fall back on with our South Node, where it's very easy for all of us to go back into our South Node. It's something that's always comes up. I always tell all my clients that the South Node never goes away. It's always there. And we just have to be aware of it and watch that, we don't let it kind of take over. So, the Hermit reversed is you want to be the person, the bigger person. You want to be the person that shows wisdom and understanding, but a lot of times that is very difficult. Now, with this Two of Wands, what this is saying is that, you have a good use for your control. Like, you have the world in your hands. You have your world in your hands if you choose to take it. And it's like, who is going to take control of your world? Like, there's a good use of that Aries energy. So what this means is that instead of taking the normal warrior route where it's like, I need to do battle with this person or them or this situation, what you're doing is you're taking that same strength and you're saying, I'm not going to let it suck me in. I'm going to rise above it. So you're taking the heroic stance of becoming the peacemaker, and you're not letting other people dictate how you react. So this is the higher level, the higher octave of the warrior, where you apply wisdom. It doesn't mean that there's times when we need to go to battle, right? But then, the higher wisdom is knowing when to, a lot of times, take the way of peace. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily forgiving everybody, but it means like going the way of taking that wiser the route. And it's just saying that you have the power to do that if you choose. You have your world in control, in your hands, if you choose to go that route. And there's always going to be times when we, like slip up and our south node pops up. I mean, that happens to all of us. But just be aware of it, that this situation is, keep moving toward that way of becoming the bigger person, and the way of peace, and the way of diplomacy, and you're going to find that things are going to always like work out for you in a much better way. Now, your two advice cards are very positive and very powerful. You've got the star card upright, and you've got the magician card upright. The star card is saying that like these are karmic lessons. These things that are happening, this thing that you're going through, is karmically teaching you to be the person that you're meant to be, to gain the skills that you're meant to gain, and to become a higher version of yourself, or the best version of who you can be. Now, this magician card is bringing out the skill building aspect of this whole reading, where it's saying that, the magician here is in control of all the elements of his energy, of his emotions, of his mind, of his words and his deeds, in control of all of these things. Okay. And that's one of the things that you're learning. And to tie in this whole reading, there's a way to express that Aries planet Mars energy in a way that is very, very beneficial. So for example, one expression, the simple expression of Mars Aries energy is, I need to take action, impulsive action. I need to do this. I need to put this person in their place, or say this, or take some sort of action. Okay. There's a time and a place for that. There's another use of that energy where you use that strength as willpower, and saying, well, I could react this way, but using the wisdom here of the hermit, if I react this way, if I say this, if I do that, yes, it's a reflection of Mars in its like most base, state, but is it really serving me? Would it be better for me to use this energy and have the strength and willpower to not say that thing or do that thing, and kind of rise above the situation? Okay. That is really difficult to do when you have this North Node. But that's what this is saying. This is karmically teaching you, when you're moving forward, to remember that there are all sorts of ways to exhibit strength. There's the basic way that we all think of. I'm a tough person and I'm going to take action. Okay. There's that. But then there's also the way that is actually much more difficult, is that I could say this, I could do this, but I'm going to hold back. I have willpower because I'm going to take the path of the peacemaker and of wisdom. And so that's kind of what this is saying. So this is something to where, keep on that path. If you use that strength and resist the easy way out, which is just expressing that Aries Mars energy without kind of thinking about it. Okay, resist that, because that is the correct use of strength most of the time for people that have your North Node. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal tarot reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Hermit card reverse. And the second half of October, I'm feeling like that there's some aspect or aspects of your life that you're being asked to examine at a deeper level from a higher perspective, or from the point of wisdom, or from a position of wisdom, and kind of like look deeper. We can look at situations in our life and just kind of like glance at them and say, okay, that's that, or whatever. But a lot of times, in order to really understand what's going on, we need to delve deeper into things, because there's surface level things, and then there are deeper things, and it's kind of like the iceberg effect. We don't see what's fully underneath the water. Like most icebergs, there are a huge amount of them that are hidden under the water. And a lot of times that's how situations are in our life, where they look at some way on the surface, right? But sometimes in order to get the full picture, we need to go into deeper. And that's what this is saying. Now, what this situation is going to be different for each of you, okay? You may have the one or more of these things that I'm going to, mention for you to go deeper on, okay? But let's take them one at a time. So we'll look at your timeline cards. You've got the Two of Pentacles upright. You've got the Eight of Cups reversed. And you've got the Two of Wands reversed. So the first area of life that a lot of you are needing to kind of investigate further is the things of value in your life. It could be like money, finances, property. What's going on with things of value, possessions, things of value, and even non-physical things, like things that are value of, like, our time, our health, or whatever. But what is it that needs to be looked at? And I feel like some of you are kind of juggling this. You may be like juggling finances, or trying to figure out, how do I spend my time? I feel like I'm pulled in too many directions. So what you're supposed to look at deeper is the deeper understanding of what is of value in your life, and how to deal with that. So for each of you, as I said, it's going to be different. But this is something to where it wants to be looked at a closer level, and not just, it looks one way on the surface, but when you look deeper, there are answers there, and there's ways to figure things out. Because one of the things, remember, in your on your path in this lifetime, if you have a north node in Scorpio or the eighth house, you're supposed to be the investigator, the inspector, the psychologist, the archaeologist. You're supposed to go deeper into things, and not just on the surface, right? Now, the next area that could be affecting a lot of you was with this Eight of Cups reversed, which is investigating your emotions and your emotional past and your emotional present. And this could include, like, when you just in looking at your, personal, emotions, or it could be in conjunction in a, relationship. Now, the interesting thing about this card coming up is, when you look at the card upright, it's someone who has made sense of their emotional past or their emotional situation, and is able to walk away from it. The card is showing these neatly stacked cups, but when it's reversed, what it's saying is, it's saying that, okay, there's things that need to be looked at here emotionally, and to go deeper into that. And it could be your own emotions, it could be your emotions in connection with another person, okay? That's another area that you're needing to go deeper into the second half of October, and kind of spend some time and investigate that. And again, this is going to have a huge payoff if you can do this successfully, and kind of see what's hidden there, because there are answers and there are good things that are hidden there when you uncover them. It's like buried treasure. Now, the Two of Wands reversed is saying this is about just your overall life in general. How is your world looking? This person is looking across the ocean on the top of their castle wall, and they have the world, the globe, in their hand. So what is happening in your world? Like, what is it you need to know about what's going on? where in your world experience do you need to like look deeper? Is it relationships? Is it work? Is it friendships? Is it health? Is it, whatever it is, you need to figure it out. Like there's certain areas of your life where you all know, okay, I should really like look at this closer. And you'll know these things, but maybe you've just been, oh, I'm not going to really do it right now or whatever. And so that's what's saying, like, look deeper into something that's relating to your life in the different subjects that I mentioned. Now, your advice cards are, you've got the Three of Pentacles upright, and you've got the Five of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Three of Pentacles is really interesting because a lot of times when this card comes up, the person that's receiving the reading, in this case it would be you who's watching and listening to this, would be this artisan being observed by other people. Okay, a lot of times that's the case. But occasionally you're actually both people. You are the observer and the observed. So you are working on your life here, okay? And then these other people are examining your work, okay? What it is, our own life is like our work, right? What are we doing? How are we working our life? How are we developing our life? And so this is saying the advice for you is really examine what's going on. Like what is it? And this is what I call about going deeper, like from that Scorpio eighth house viewpoint, and really, really look at what's going on at a deep level in your life. Like observe your life, observe your past, observe your present, what's going on in every aspect of your life, and really look at it at a deeper level. And so, that's something that they teach in a lot of, schools of Buddhism, where they call it the observer and the observed, where you sit back. And because most of the time we're just who we are, we're looking out our own eyes and in our own experience, but we have the ability to step outside ourselves, okay, and observe what's going on in our mind, in our heart, in our life, okay. And that's what this is saying here. So that's one of the advice cards that could really help you go through this process in looking deeper. And then this Five of Pentacles reversed is saying that as you're going through this whole process of looking at your life and discovering things in your life at the deepest level, it can have an effect to where you don't feel as isolated as you might. One of the things about having a North Node in Scorpio or the eighth house is it can have this kind of isolating like feeling overall. And when you see this reversed, one of the things when you're doing this work, it can have this feeling of making you not feel so isolated, like you're not alone, because it's connecting you to the deeper levels and mysteries of your own life. And so you just like, there's not a lot of like question marks in your life. So as you go through this process, as I said, it's going to deepen your understanding of your life, the hidden aspects of your life, and you're going to feel a more of a connection with who you are. And it seems really strange because a lot of times we think our feeling a connection or not feeling isolated depends on our connection with others. But we have a connection to ourselves. It sounds strange, but we can be isolated from our own self because maybe we don't understand how our mind works or our emotions work. And so when we begin to understand our inner workings more, we become less isolated because we become more connected to our true self. And that's what this card is saying. So yeah, very, very powerful second half of October. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. North Node in Sagittarius and or the ninth house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Eight of Wands upright. And I feel like you're getting a clear signal, you North Nodes in Sagittarius or the ninth house, a clear signal of a path or paths that you're supposed to take. Especially like a singular path. There's something in your life where you're getting a clear indication. Like, is it I need to move forward in something in with my health? Do I need to look at maybe changing careers or jobs? For each of you, it's going to be different, okay? But you're getting a clear indication of moving forward. Do I need to start this side hustle or this business? Do I need to investigate, this relationship? So it's going to be different areas. And yes, you're being told all systems go. Let's move. It's time to take action and move forward in a certain direction. Let's look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Five of Pentacles upright. You've got the Wheel of Fortune upright. And you've got the Two of Cups upright. So starting with the Five of Pentacles, this is an aspect that some of you may be experiencing where this is about you feeling more like independent from something, like breaking away from the status quo, breaking away from what others expect of you, or what you think others expect of you, breaking away from others like belief systems, or what being the person that they want you to be as opposed to the person you want to be. That's what this card is saying. And sometimes the five cards are always challenging in the tarot, but they can be positive because sometimes we have to kind of go through something in order to get to a better place in life, okay? And that may mean kind of taking a little more of a difficult road. And it's hard to break away from what people expect from us a lot of times. And that's what this is saying, that it could feel like at first kind of you're feeling like isolated and alone, but as you move forward, what you're doing is you're gaining more independence, and you're getting more kind of personal power from that. And then what effect this is having is, with this Wheel of Fortune, is that by taking action, you are changing your fortune, right? Because there is an old saying, and this old adage is very true: fortune favors the bold. So when you are able to take distinct and direct action in your life in different areas, you're being rewarded for that. You'll always, even if we make a mistake, if we move in a direction that's not quite right, that's okay, because it'll all like balance itself out. You'll see very quickly, oh, I need to make an adjustment here, or maybe back away and try a new direction. But it's always better for you to, being a North Node fire sign, Sagittarius, or in the ninth house, you're being rewarded for being bold and taking that kind of fiery action. And literally what that does is you are increasing your chances of success, creating a better destiny and better fortune for yourself. Now, this Two of Cups here is interesting, because for a lot of you, what this is saying is that by doing this, this is actually going to strengthen your relationships in all ways. And this is something that's really strange. A lot of times when I'm doing readings, the advice will be seemingly counterintuitive or opposite of what the outcome will be. And what I mean by that is you would think by breaking away, being more bold and independent, breaking away from what others expect you to be, you would think that that would draw you further away from people. But what it will do is it will bring you closer together, that are the important people in your life, the important relationships. Those that don't have the strength to stand by who you want to be and the direction you want to go in, they will expose themselves, right? Because a lot of times throughout life, I think we've all experienced that, where you've seen relationships where could be a friend, a family member, love relationship, work relationship, whatever it is. And when it comes down to it, um, they seem like they really don't have our best interests and our back, right? And so what this is doing is this is exposing both the good and the bad in our relationship connection. Because when you become your true self, when you follow your true path, it's going to expose who really wants the best for you and who just wants you to be the old you type of a thing. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Tower card reversed, and you've got the Ten of Wands upright. So what this is saying here is that the Tower is really saying that there's going to be like some sort of a spark that's going to help initiate this. And I think it already happened for a lot of you. Like, it could have been something that happened a while back where it was this kind of like final straw, or like a spark that just said, something happened. It could have been in, some sort of a challenging situation that came up. And a lot of times that's where we make changes. They say that, change happens in two ways. It happens gradually over time, which would be like the weather and the rain over thousands of years eroding a rock, right? Or it happens cataclysmically, which would be like a lightning bolt striking the rock and making change, right? So it only happens in one of two ways. But many times something kind of has to happen that's like a spark or a catalyst that gets us on our true path. And so I feel like, if realize that if that happened, it happened because it was that spark that needed, to happen for the change. And if it has yet to happen, realize that it is for the good, because it's getting you to, begin that whole process. But I feel like for most of you, you've already felt that spark at some point, and that's why this is reversed. And then with this, Ten of Wands, it's saying like, okay, this is a process, right? And this is a good burden that you're bearing. You are, by you taking on the burden of becoming your true self and making a directional change or directional changes, and not listening to what other people expect of you, and you are listening to your true inner truth in your heart. um yeah, it can feel like you're carrying a burden, but it's a good burden, just like a burden of like eating healthy and exercising, or training to be a performer of some kind. There's a lot of work involved, it's a lot of burden, but it's working towards something that's positive, and that's what this is saying. So yeah, really, really powerful reading. And remember, the key to it all here is that this literally is the key to changing your destiny and your fortune. And by you taking this action, you're going to ensure that you're going to be, at a better place than you are now. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Seven of Swords reversed. Now, one of the things that this card can indicate, and what I'm feeling here, is it's something that was taken away is coming back to you. Okay, something that was taken, stolen from you. Okay, now, and it's not something that's physical. Okay, and like something physically that was stolen, but something that was mentally and emotionally taken from you at some point in your life is beginning to come back, and it's something that wants to come back into you. Something that could, like, for some people, when we've gone through things in childhood, or in different relationships that we've had with friends, family, or romantic partnerships, it's like things can get taken from us and we lose kind of part of who we are. And I feel like for you, the second half of October, there's parts of you that are wanting to come back. Some of them are coming back automatically, and then others are just wanting to come back, and you can kind of move the process along by things that you're doing on your behalf. Now, let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Five of Pentacles upright. You've got the Four of Pentacles upright, and you've got the World card reversed. I'll start with the World card. This is a great card to get in any reading, especially in the ending position here. And it's positive in its reversed state. Your world isn't how you want it right now, but you're in process of doing it. It's like you're in the process of making it what you want it to be. An example of that is, let's say that we're going to take an example of where a person is right now in their life and what they're working toward. And then this is their end goal. Okay. It could be anything. It could be like, I'm working on becoming a great, movie director. Okay. And this is my end goal. I'm starting here, right? When you're here, what happens is this card would come up. If you're beginning the process of it and you're moving toward that goal, that's what I'm seeing in this card. So you're moving in the right direction, but you're not there yet. There's more work to be done. That's what this World reversed is saying. Now, the other two cards here, you've got the Five of Pentacles and you've got the Four of Pentacles upright. On your path, if you have a North Node in Capricorn or the 10th house, it can be somewhat a lonely and isolated path sometimes. And the reason is, you can feel like a lot of times when I talk to people that have this North Node, it could feel like if they look back on their life, it feels like their safety and security has been like a rug pulled out from under them from time and time again. Like all they want to do is just like live peacefully and have some security, both, mentally and emotionally and financially. And it just seems like through their whole life, it's like the rug gets pulled out. Nope, nope, nope. It could have that feeling. And most people that have this North Node can kind of relate to that, where it's like just when they get things comfy, the rug is being pulled out. And it's like, I call it the baby bird syndrome, where, life won't let you get in that comfortable nest. It says, nope, it kicks you out. The reason for that is, so this is what this Five of Pentacles is saying. It feels like being out in the cold and like, you are on your own. But the reason for that is because this is a path for you to achieve success in some area of life. Now, not necessarily business or anything else, but be successful independently of the safety and security around you. Okay. What I mean by that is, when you look at the Capricorn, Cancer polarity axis, we call it the security axis. We call it, we desire physical security. We desire mental, emotional security, as I said, financial security, all of that, right? But what in this lifetime, if you have a Capricorn North Node or 10th house, you're being asked to make your security, to not have it provided for you, but you to make it on your own. So meaning, like, one way that could be is like, okay, I've had the rug pulled out from me numerous times. I'm going to go out and I'm going to make something of myself. And then you go out there and you work hard, take on the burdens, nose to the grindstone. Capricorn, ruled by the planet Saturn, hard work. And then you create something, a business, you have a job or a career, and then you're able to create the security. So that's all that is it's having the South Node in Cancer is like having the security provided for you, like a nurturing mother to a child. And the security in the Capricorn North Node or 10th house is you creating it for yourself. Now, that's what this Four of Pentacles, this is security. You could see that this person has the Pentacles, which rules everything of value all around their body, on their head. Okay, this is creating this security. That's what you're here to do in this lifetime. And that's something that, this part of you is coming back. Like, a lot of you feel it, like, okay, I need to do something. I need to move in a new direction. And you might feel a little scared of doing it, but these little inklings are coming back. A lot of you are already moving toward that. You're saying like, okay, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm not going to wait for other people to provide my, safety and security in life, financially, emotionally, mentally. I'm going to create it for myself. And a lot of you are on that. And that's what I mean by old parts of yourself that are coming back, that maybe you felt like when, you were younger, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. I've got this. Now your two advice cards are, you've got the Page of Cups reversed, and you've got the King of Wands reversed. Now, the King of Wands is interesting, because one of the things it's saying is that it's saying that in order for you to create the life that you want in any aspect, doesn't matter if it's a career, if it's being the best parent, or whatever it is, you have to have an inspiration, okay, to drive you, right? And your inspiration is different for each of you. For some, it's like, I'm creating this for myself because, yeah, I want to create a more safe and secure future for myself. I want to create a better future for myself or for my family, or something to that effect. Or I feel passionate about something, but there has to be that passionate, inspirational spark of why you're doing what you're doing. That's like a key. If you're not feeling like, you have to feel it, right? Like, you're not just going and moving in a direction to gain success in some area of life, to where, if you're not feeling inspired by it, right? So there has to be some sort of inspiration. So that's what you look for, because the inspiration is what is going to be the fuel to help you succeed in whatever that is. Doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, okay? We're always working on this, whatever this is. Some of you, it could be like, oh, I want to really become successful in on my health, and I want to work on that. And so what inspires you? It's like, well, I want to feel better. I want to, something has to have that fuel and that spark. So that's the one advice card. Now, this Page of Cups reversed is saying that it has to have, you need to take emotions out of it sometimes, okay? Because sometimes, like, one of the things that you see with this North Node, South Node combination is you see a struggle or a pull between, like, logic and reason and what we need to do, and then our emotions. And so our thinking and feeling are like opposite of each other, and it could be like this tug of war. And so the other advice for you is to, you have that Cancer South Node, you're always in touch with your emotions, you have the emotional intelligence, but try to limit the emotional charge. This is more about inspiration, and more about like using your mind. You're always going to be connected to your emotions, but this is saying, take the emotional side, make sure you're keeping it under control. And that's another key word for Capricorn North Node in Saturn: control, containment. That's a good word for you. Okay. Make sure you're controlling that. Make sure you're keeping it in check. And what's driving you is not emotions, but what's driving you is inspiration. And that's kind of what this is all saying. But it doesn't matter where you're moving. For each of you, young, old, in the middle, wherever you're at, this is essentially what you're doing, is you're moving toward this more kind of creating the life you want for yourself, and not waiting for others to do it. Okay, no matter what that is, in relationships, in work and career, in being a parent, and whatever, this is about you creating this for yourself. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. Okay, interesting. So you've got, for your theme card, you've got the Page of Wands. And The interesting thing is that this card is referring, and I saw very clearly based on this card and the spread, it's referring to your south node in Leo in the fifth house. And it's energizing your south node in a really good way that's going to have an effect on your life. It's going to be an overall positive effect, but it's also saying like it's saying use the energy wisely. Okay, here's what I mean by that. So your south node in Leo or the fifth house is ruled by the sun. Okay, and the sun is, you know, the life-giving planet and is what our solar system is all about. And it's very important that when we have things that are going on with the sun, people that have a lot of Leo energy or, you know, south node or north node in Leo, we get very energized by things that are happening with our sun. Now, there is an interstellar object that I talked about in the beginning of all these readings. It's 3I Atlas. They don't really know what this is. Some people are saying it could be a comet, but it's acting in a really strange manner. At some point during October, it's coming very, very close proximity to our sun. And I'm feeling like in this reading, what's going to happen is everybody is going to feel it, but especially people that, as I said, have prominent placements in Leo, or where, you know, wherever their sun is, there should be some very like prominent things happening. Now, what I'm feeling like is this second half of October, there's going to be a massive amount of energy that a lot of you are going to feel, and you're being asked to use that energy in, you know, ways that is intelligent and that's going to help your life. So let's look at your timeline, and I'll give you some more clarity on that. So you've got the Chariot card reversed. You've got the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Six of Swords upright. Now, these cards may all seem different, and they are in many ways, but they have one common theme. They have, when they're reversed, they have a reversed or upright, they're about getting unstuck. Okay, so what I mean by that is that the Chariot here reversed, the Chariot is a card of movement. But when the Chariot is off balance, the Chariot is moving in an erratic direction, or it's moving in circles. It's not moving in a straight line. So what's going to happen is when this sun energy is coming into your field and your life, there's an energy where it can help you get unstuck in some way, okay? So where some aspect of your life can feel like, oh, I'm finally free of that, you know? So it's having this amazing effect where, you know, it can take the Chariot that has been going around in circles, one aspect of your life that may have been off course, can set you back on your course, okay? Now, the Knight of Pentacles here is interesting because this is also a card of movement, but just like all of the knights, it's a card of movement, but it's the slowest movement of all the knights. And when I see the Knight of Pentacles reversed, it could be like either it could be getting stuck or unstuck, okay? And I feel like with this energy, again, this is showing some area of your life. It could be relationships, it could be money, career, health, or getting unstuck with this solar energy that's coming in and triggering your south node in a good way and in a positive way. But again, as I said, before, like you want to use this energy in a very, very positive way. It can help you get unstuck, but it can also cause some issues, which we'll get into in a moment. Now, the last card on your timeline here is the Six of Swords. And again, this is a card of movement. You see these people that are on the boat. They're moving away from troubled waters to more calm waters, to a different shore. And what this is saying is that this energy that's coming in this second half of October can have the effect of moving you in a better direction mentally and emotionally, can move you away from troubles or rough waters. Okay. Again, that's what can happen with this energy. And I feel like that a lot of you are going to be things that were really, you were stuck on for a while. You're going to start to see improvement and movement forward on this. Now, but just like anything, energy is neither positive or negative, okay? But it's how it's used. So you're being asked to kind of, show some caution here. Um, these two advice cards are kind of pointing this out. The number one is you've got this, this Seven of Wands here. And one of the things that can happen is when we get a shot of energy in our life, energy can be misused. And so one of the things this is cautioning is making sure that you don't use this excess energy in like conflicts with others, okay? Because when it energizes that south node in Leo or the fifth house, those Leo tendencies could come up. So watch how that tempers don't flare or things aren't said, or you don't get into conflicts or like battles with people. That's like not a good use of the energy. So it's saying like, just if you feel like you're building up energy, like take some deep breaths, like take a shower, relax, like don't let it this excess energy cause any conflicts in your life. And then this strength card reversed is bearing this out, because you can literally see the maiden is holding under control the lion, Leo, fifth house, okay? And it's reversed here. And so it's saying like, okay, you gotta like keep those like negative Leo tendencies under control. But this energy is positive, okay? In the sense that if you allow it to be positive, it can get you unstuck and moving in a really good direction in your life. All you have to do is make sure that it's not triggering anything that are those like old Leo tendencies, or those south node tendencies, and making sure that you're not using it to like for conflict or something to that effect. But yeah, really, really, really positive overall if you allow it. And just remember those tips, and you're going to be able to like use this energy in like really, really great ways. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more readings. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Five of Swords reversed. Now, all of the five cards are generally challenging cards, and when they're reversed, it's a less challenging energy or a getting over or healing of the energy. And I feel like the second half of October here is there's going to be a situation where you're moving away from some difficult situation. It could have been in a relationship with a person or people, where you're moving away with like the hurt and the sting of the situation is lessening. And I feel like that's just going to happen naturally. Like it's like almost like an energy of, or the feeling I'm getting is like a purification. Like you take water that is like cloudy or has debris in it, right? And then that water is purified. I feel like that you're in this process as an individual, this it's like second half of October, of it's like purifying water. It's you're purifying yourself, because sometimes when we hold on to things, over time, we always have them, but as time goes on, we can purify them and filter them out, and they don't have that same kind of like taint to them. And I feel like that's what's happening. The second half is, for some reason, you're going to find some sort of like healing and moving away from, the muddy waters that once happened, and kind of, purify that part of yourself. Your timeline cards, let's look at those. We'll get some more clarity. You've got the Star card upright. you've got the Ace of Pentacles upright, and you've got the Page of Swords upright. So obviously, the star is saying that, okay, this is happening because this is a part of your karmic path. This is very karmic in nature. The ability of a Pisces North Node to, or the 12th house North Node, to purify themselves is very, very important, because when we look at the polarity axis of Pisces and Virgo, or 12th house, 6th house, what we're looking at is we're looking at purity physically, and purity of the soul and of spirit, right? And so with this is a time when your south node in Virgo and or the 6th house is helping you to purify your energy, to work through something, and you're not holding toxins, okay? Because Virgo and the 6th house rules health and healing, and so, and also purification, okay? So that's what this process is. And so this is very karmic in nature, because this is something that you're learning to do as a lifelong skill. And you've already done it to a great extent, where you're able to like move on and purify and not take stuff with you. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, upright, is showing that this is one of the things that you're learning as far as what it is you value in where you want to go and who you want to be. Like, it's adding this purification process is enriching your life. It's enriching your life experience, okay? And so it's like when we say, oh, okay, I'm purifying myself, what, kind of whoop-de-doo, right? But what this does, that process adds value into your life, because you are enhancing your life experience. When you become more pure physically and emotionally and mentally, you're taking this step towards having the best life that you can. Okay, so it's a huge life enhancement. Now, the Page of Swords here is interesting, because this is saying, like, okay, throughout this process, make sure you're staying vigilant and observant. And again, this is where we see the skills that you have built in from your Virgo or 6th house south node, which is the ability to focus and see details. You always want to see, as you're going through this process, see things and see the details of things and understand them, because this can help you through the process of, oh, do I need to make this adjustment? Or should I really take these steps? Like when you combine the skills of your North Node, Pisces, 12th house, with the skills of your South Node, Virgo, or 6th house, you get this combination between, intuition and psychic ability with the ability to research and examine things closely. So it's saying, like, use all of these things together so you don't ever make mistakes in the future, as far as, do I get involved with this or that or this person or that person type of a thing. It's the ability to, like, stay watchful and vigilant through this whole process, through this purification process. Now, this is kind of being brought out also in your advice cards. So you've got the Two of Swords, upright, and you've got the Three of Pentacles reversed. So the Two of Swords is saying, like, okay, with your North Node, South Node, okay, there's a time when you need to block off your psychic abilities and intuition and become observant and become very like studious and see what's going on with a high degree of focus, like under a microscope. And then there's a time not to do that. There's a time to trust your intuition and turn off the mind, and not follow that, but follow your intuitive guidance and your psychic abilities. Okay. So this is one of the things that this is saying, is that, you don't have one or the other. You have to learn, when do you need to maybe shut down one and enhance the other, or, vice versa, right? So that's one of the things as you're going through this purification process to keep in mind. And then this Three of Pentacles, again, I'm getting this card a lot this month. And what this card is this card, the Three of Pentacles, is saying, like, this is one of the meanings of this card is becoming the observer and the observed in your life. Because normally when you see this card, you have an artisan working on some stonework. It looks like in a cathedral, of some sort, right? And then you have these other two individuals that are looking at that work and judging it and examining it. Is it good? Do they love it? Do they not love it? Or whatever. It's like these two sets of people, the artisan and then the observers or the critics, right? But one of the meanings of this card is we can be both for ourselves. So in other words, we are the artisan or crafter of our own life and of our future. But at some point, what's really helpful is when we step back and observe ourselves, our patterns, our emotions, our mind, when we step back from and really examine ourselves. It's like self-examination, where we are looking at ourselves from the outside in. And as I stated before earlier in some of the readings this month, is that this observer observed effect is taught in some of the schools of Buddhism, which is, that's how we learn. We learn to observe what's going on in our mind, what's going on in our emotions, what's going on in our body, but we're looking at it from outside in, type of a thing. And so that's one of the things that is going to, help you in going through this purification process, because these are skills, the ability to turn Pisces on and Virgo off and vice versa, right, is a great skill, as well as being able to observe yourself at a deep level from outside and kind of gain more knowledge from that. But yeah, overall, what this is, you're in the process, the second half of October, of purifying who you are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And this is from something and things that have happened in the past. And so this is this process. Let it happen, but stay vigilant. And remember, you have the skills to be both the observer and the observed, and both at the same time. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, there's going to be some links in the description box below. And yeah, if you'd like to show the channel some love, you can also click on a few things in there. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings.